First, we need to start with the events because this is where we're gonna start our program. So it's pretty straightforward. So for example, this block is when the flag is clicked, it's gonna do something. This is when space is clicked, when the sprite is clicked. The sprite is basically the character. The loudness of the sound, which I'll get to later, and then the backdrop. It also can do that. Also, it use messages and also broadcast messages. So what to do with this event thingy when we can't do anything with it? So we have a motion tab where we could do whatever we want to this cat. So we could make it move 10 steps. And it could turn, go to random positions, glide, and then point in directions. You could do a lot of things. Now next in the looks tab, you could make the cat say hello. It's gonna say hello. And then you could also switch its costume. A costume is basically like here. There are 2 costumes for this cat. You could add a lot of them. And then you could change its size, the color, a bunch of effects actually. There's like a fisheye whirl, pixelate, ghost, whatever. You could also hide and show it. You could also use backdrop numbers, costume numbers, these kind of variables. In the sound, you can do play a sound. This one sound is a meow. And then you could change its volume, pitch, all that. So after that is the control. This is where you put the like wait if you want the timing, and then repeat forever, repeat until blank, which I'll show you what to put in this later. So let's try that. Also the if else conditions, wait until blah blah blah. There's also the stop, and then you could create a clone. And then here is the sensing. So for example, if touching mouse pointer, it's gonna do something. You could add whatever you want. And then the repeat until, you could do the same thing when repeat until space key pressed. So sensing is basically, it's trying to sense what you're doing. So like for example, this asked, it's gonna ask what's your name. You could type fully loaded library. And yeah, it's gonna register that answer into this. So the sensing basically has a bunch of variables. Like in the online editor, it could detect your username, but since I'm in the offline editor, it can't. The operators is where the math comes in. So there's plus, minus, multiplication, division, randomizers, greater than, equals, and or not. And then there's a bunch of other things here. Like the join, it's gonna join 2 stuff together. These variables are the controls for the variables. You could make a new variable. So yeah. And then it could show, not show, set, and then change the value. You could make a list also. So list. And then there's a bunch of whole new features. It's very straightforward actually, so it's easy to learn, really, for real. And then yeah, blocks are a little harder to understand if you haven't done coding much, but then it's gonna be easy because it basically is like this. You could put a bunch of code in there, block name, and then when when the flag is clicked, it's basically gonna execute block name, all of the things in here. So yeah, and then the boolean is if something is like true, and then add a label. Yeah. So that basically is it for Scratch. You could name it, you save or load from your computer. There's also a bunch more if you're in the online editor, like cloud variables, which basically store variables in the server of Scratch. There's also a bunch of add-ons here, like music pen, video sensing, and all that. So you could also integrate Lego into Scratch, which is pretty interesting. So if you want more on that, comment in the description below, and Yeah, basically that's it. That's Scratch. And if you want to learn how to do something in Scratch, you could comment.